So the question I've been asking is like, what has been preventing AI from having its full-blown impact in healthcare so far? And this is an opinion, but I think there are 4 areas where I think things have been lacking in the past. These 4 areas to me are, the first is that we've been looking at specialized solutions, not generalized solutions. These are all really important. I think Dr. Howell called it AI 2.0, but these were really important steps, and I think many of these specialized solutions do become the right tools for us to use in the next journey. But focusing on things that are slices of the problem, either by disease type or locale or diagnostic modality or a particular part of the healthcare workflow, is limiting. The second is this lack of interoperability of our systems. So healthcare, everyone has a different slice of the user. A third is that we don't have great simulators. And the fourth is that we have very limited feedback loop. You take an action, you don't know exactly how this unfolded, and therefore for you to know whether you got a high reward or a low reward is hard. And the assertion, I know I'm at time, but the assertion I have is that the first 3, so specific models versus generalized, so LLMs are truly a generalized technology. I think the G in many of the GPTs is generalized. And I think that is a moment to take a stock and see whether we were solving the right problems by solving small niche problems. We still have to do those, but can we do it using these generalized tools? I think we've solved this, and I think part of it is the multimodality of these systems. You don't have to really look at each modality, each diagnostic mode separately, but you can actually merge everything together. The second is this lack of interoperability, and I think here agents as opposed to applications. So all of our data was siloed because they were sitting in applications that had deterministic interfaces of what they did. We're now in a world where agents are the new layer of applications, and recent advances in the protocols through which these agents can talk to each other. So you had APIs, and you needed lots of deployment of solutions engineers to plug into these APIs and build complex systems one at a time. By the time you did it, the APIs moved on to something else. But now, and I don't think this is the solution to everything, but we will see an evolution here where agents talking to each other in natural language will unleash a whole level of interoperability that we just have to harness to the best of our use. The third is no great simulator. Here again, my assertion is that LLMs give us a tremendous platform to simulate what happens in healthcare. And so we don't need a simulation of the body as an anatomical thing. But in the knowledge of the world, we know that for a given state in terms of a biological system, if you took a certain action, what is the likely outcome? And we have all of that knowledge now encoded in the LLMs. So we can use the LLM to unroll a lot of trajectories. I have this patient, I gave them a particular medicine, what is the expected outcome? We can just unravel a lot of them. A lot of them might be unreasonable or nonsensical, but we can then just roll out lots of these trajectories, play the game, have the LLM assess whether those trajectories make sense or not, and then that gives us reward functions. So to me, what is really missing in this whole piece is the feedback loop. Our healthcare systems are not designed to know what the result of certain outcomes were by design. I think you can do surveys and go back and talk to people and so on, but it's a trickle of information on how your actions really led to certain outcomes. And I think there is an opportunity for us to redesign our entire way of thinking of healthcare systems as a primary focus on feedback loops. Right? How can every action that every person in the medical system, when they take it, how can they know what the outcome was? Not just when the patient is in the hospital, outside the hospital. I think people have framed this as continuous care, but again, there's a primary focus on delivery of care. But if the primary focus is on knowing whether your actions led to good or bad outcomes, we will think of designing these systems differently. So yeah, that is my provocation here to ask whether we can rethink this. I have certain suggestions. I think it seems really hard because there's so many actions that get taken, and to design everything with feedback loops in mind is hard. But I do believe that there is a certain set of primitives. I see, like, my parents were admitted to a hospital for spine surgeries a couple of years ago, and when I spend time in the hospital, like, everyone's communicating. So even the nurses are communicating with the doctors. So all, like, there are traces of the actions being left in WhatsApp groups, in notes, in other places. And we just need to harness all of these communication channels and understand where, if intelligence was ever present in every communication challenge, whether it's between a person to person or person to system or a machine. Like when you're looking at the ICU monitors, there's communication happening between the systems. Can we inject intelligence in there? So it is observing what we're observing, and then we design feedback loops around it. And my hope is that if we did this, we will be working together to understand people's journey at every step, and we will hopefully unlock new creative ways, maybe a new treatment protocol, a new surgical procedure, which we had never imagined. And to me, unlocking that Move 37 in healthcare would be a great grand challenge. Thank you.